you want to look at both your revenue and your profit when you're considering bringing on an associate. The revenue numbers usually, what we say is around $35,000 to $40,000 per month is a good place to be with a solo practice when you're ready to hire an associate, right? So if you're down at 20 or 25, you're not ready yet. You need to build up that practice more. You can see, there's a lot of different ways to do that, whether it's increasing prices or, just tightening up your systems or just adding more new patients in there. Lots of different things that you can do to raise the practice up. But once you get to that $35,000 to $40,000 a month range, that's when you're saying, okay, my revenue numbers is where it needs to be. And it needs to be there for a while. It can't be just like 1 month, you've been doing 25 for 6 months. And then 1 month you hit 35. And then it's like, oh, I need to hire an associate. No, it needs to be, it's sustainable. And you've been there for a while in that 35 to 40 range. And then you also have to be looking at your profit margins, right? What is your overhead? I mean, if you have an extremely high overhead and you're collecting $35,000 per month, for instance, if your overhead's $25,000 and you're collecting $35,000, then you're not ready for an associate because you don't have enough margin in there to be able to pay, a higher paid employee in order to continue to grow the practice. So what we recommend is usually around 50% overhead, and that includes all expenses of the practice. That includes your CA salary, includes your rent, includes your, all the different things that you include in your expenses. About 50% is a good rule of thumb. So if you're collecting $40,000 per month and your overhead is around $20,000, then that's a good place to be to bring on that associate. Another thing to be thinking about when it comes to these financial considerations is your patient load. Do you have enough demand to justify the hire, right? Like we talked about before, if you have a waiting list, for sure. If you have good strategies in place to generate consistent new patients, that's another good reason to say, yes, I'm confident I can bring in an associate and I can help them to really build their practice. Then you also have to be thinking about compensation models, right? Are you going to do some sort of a base salary only for a while? Are you going to build that up into a base salary plus percentage? Are you going to do a percentage only, or some sort of a hybrid, all these different things? You have to be thinking about those things and basically put that into your model and be able to do some projections to see how is this going to impact you as your practice, as you bring on this associate and as your practice hopefully grows. Because the idea is, if you can bring on an associate, you really want to see them produce at least 3 to 1 of whatever their salary is, right? And so if they're coming on and, let's say you're paying them, let's say $6,000 per month to start, you want them to be able to produce $18,000 per month through their efforts, right? Both through helping you with your overflow and also with them generating their own. And that doesn't happen instantly. They have to have a build up towards that. But that's really the rule of thumb there is at least a 3 to 1, right? So if you're at a $40,000 per month practice and you bring on an associate, what you would like to see is you'd like to see that practice be able to grow with the 2 doctors up to at least $60,000 to $80,000 per month. And that range is where a 2-doctor practice should be. And there's different factors again that can go into that, but 60 to 80,000 should be where a 2-doctor practice is and what the income that it's generating. And so in order to make that happen, there has to be some training and ramp up, right? There has to be, you have to understand that there's going to be an initial lower productivity for an associate you're bringing on. So helping them to get started, making sure that you have a really good onboarding plan for them so that they can get going as quickly as possible. But know that that is going to take some time.